These are the top 5 qualifier matches in the AVP the last 10 years. Let's go to number 5. Number 5, 2017, Miles and Marcus. The brothers Partain go against Mater and Playcheck, and you can see how skinny they are. You can see how gangly they are. I'll tell you why, because they ended up qualifying at 15 and 17 years old. Look at that lefty. Look at Miles. And that's my number 5. And mature beyond their years, and now they're a little bit bigger, and their power game's a little bit stronger, but they made little to no mistakes. Number 4, New York City, 2016, Mike Salick. And that guy is Greg, the Savage Hunter. His shorts are tight. His body's hairy. He's balding at the top of his head. But he don't give a damn. He came to ball. And that drew a bigger crowd in a qualifier match than the main draw did all the way into Sunday. So big up to Salick and Hunter for taking the 4th spot on this top 5 list. Which brings me to number 3. All my exes live in Texas. Casada, Schickler against Miller and Ryan. This match went to the night lights came out, man, and nobody went home. It was a party atmosphere and another crowd that was main draw worthy, quantitatively speaking. Wow, he who hits the tape wins. And also he who serves left shoulder wins. That's match point. And Casada, I forgot the hyphenated last name, he and Schlicker qualified to the main draw, and here's it from the hometown crowd. That's my number 3, Rob. Which brings me to number 2, Manhattan Beach, California, 2018. That is Matt Proser. That is Eric Baranek. He goes to the right, move into the right, move into the left, move into the left. There he goes cross court on the fake. On the other side of the net, that's Derek Olsen, and that is indoor sensation Paul Lottman. This is a long rally. This is the rally I chose to represent this, but this had another huge crowd, which, by the way, was not the qualifier finals. This was a qualifier 3rd round. That's the number 2 seed, Lottman and Olsen, and that's the wrist away, and there go the shades. Some lucky woman walking around, minding her own business, catches them out of the air, and the crowd goes wild, and Eric gives time to give me the double tap. That's number 2. And Rob, number 1. I mean, there's a dispute about what's 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 15, but there is no dispute about number 1. This is Rafu Rodriguez, Kevin McCulloch against Reed Pretty and Kame Schalk, Huntington Beach, California, 2017. There were people under the pier. There were people on top of the pier. There were people on the side. There were people walking on the strand watching this match. Everybody stopped. Another main draw worthy match from the qualifier match, which, by the way, was Rafu and Kevin's 1st round match. And there's the stuff for match point. Reed Pretty Kame Schalk won this match, and by the way, didn't even qualify. A number 1, Rafa Rodriguez, Kevin McCulloch eliminated from competition. That match, by the way, produced 3 AVP champs. Kame Schalk won with Jeremy Casebeer in Seattle. Rafu won with Ed Ratledge in San Francisco. And Reed Pretty won with Trevor Crabb in Manhattan Beach. His name is etched in stone with with the older brother Crabb. So, Rob, shitload of honorable mentions, but before I get into honorable mentions, I want you to chime in, because maybe you have 1 or 2 that you want to talk about, or maybe you want to talk about 1 or 2.
Yeah, I mean, I just remember the one I remember is the first one, is where Rafu and all them were playing. Yeah, it was just crazy looking over there at 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning, and that could be, like you're saying, a main draw game, even a quarterfinal at that point. And it's just funny to see that in the morning, and great volleyball.
Yeah, man. And again, 3 guys that subsequently became AVP champs. You got an Olympic gold medalist. You got one of the best beach players in the history of Puerto Rican beach volleyball, right? Rafu. I mean, maybe Rick Amon or whatever and this and that, but Rick Amon was more of an indoor guy. Yeah, man. Wow, what a match. But the second one, too, like Matt Proser, at that time, he was a cancer survivor. So him to get back on the court. And not only that, that was a 3rd round match for them, and they eventually qualified. They had to out number 2 Paul Lottman Derek Olson, longtime AVPer and also a head coach at California Berkeley, their beach team. And Eric Baranek has superpowers in Manhattan Beach because he qualified there. I think he qualified the year before. And then last year, 2019, made it all the way to the semifinals with Bill Kolinsky. I think you know something about that because I think you were one of the teams he beat in 2-1, which I thought was a really good match. Honorable mention. I got to do this because they're going to be some people, and I know you're coming back with me, Rob. Honorable mention. Let's New York City, 2018, Bree Scarborough and Aurora Davis beat Quiggle and Cannon. Very good match, and they ended up beating Betsy Flint and Day the first day of the main draw, so 2-0. Honorable mention, Travis Murdo, Rafi Polis against Dentler and Marek. That was a match that was a second round. Honorable mention, of course, Dana Camacho, Dave Palm, the guy that everybody loves but nobody tapes. What's up with that? They played Dentler and Paulus. That was 2019. Honorable mention, you, my man, Rob McLean and Rob DiAurora against Dylan Lesniak and Garrett Westberg, which just for being a technical match, a mixture of technique, power, groundedness, and grit and determination. That match went an hour, I think an hour 15, where no one was willing to give up the goods, and I thought that was one of my favorite matches, not for crowd generation, but like for the volleyball purist. Honorable mention, Nyquist and Paranagua over Cassie House and Pianta de Lima, also 2019. Honorable mention, Theo Brunner, John Hayden over Schultz, Earl Schultz and Jake Arudi. That's a tough match to get into the draw with. Last honorable mention, 2019, Chris Austin, Chris Johnson over, I think they lost to Buttinger and Friend in Chicago. Buttinger and Friend qualified. So those are my honorable mentions. Guys, if you disagree with my list, send me a message, send Rob a message, send a telegram, because I know I missed, you're always going to miss something. So to consolidate this to the top 5, we're not slapping anybody around. It's not a slap in the face to anybody else, all right? Before we move to our next subject, Rob, FIVB, yesterday, the country quota winners trying to qualify to get into the draw. Sponsel and Clays got in. I believe they beat, who did they beat? I have it right here. Sorry. They beat the Dutch. They beat the Dutch 2-1. Patterson and Buttinger lost to the Dutch 20-22 and 18-21, and Brunner and Schalk lost to Spaniards Menendez and Huerta 2-1. I only saw one match, Rob, and I guess I got a message for Patterson and Buttinger, and I don't want you to chime in this because active players, we don't really want active players criticizing other active players, but let's keep it real. You guys are vets. If you serve lollipops, you get licked. I don't know what your strategy was, serving straight to a guy and then mixing it up a little bit. You had to take a chance on this team. They ended up taking their lunch money because there's no way, because I've seen Casey Patterson serve tough. I've seen Buttinger serve tougher than that. And if they did, they're not losing these games 20-22 and 18-21, and they probably would have qualified. So a bit of a disappointment. And what did I put? I said, I basically, my comment was, could serve just space be any weaker? And I guess people could take that how they want to take that. For me, I criticize volleyball players with volleyball. So if that's personal, come see me, message me. We work that out. But for the people that listen to this podcast, I owe it to them to be honest. And I'm emotional. I'm a USA guy, Rob. So I'm emotional. I want them to get in. So of course I'm gonna be mad. I'm like, what the F you doing? I'm a long-time coach. I'm a long-time commentator. So of course I'm gonna have an opinion on these things. So, but main draw started. When we get off this, I'm gonna check it out. It started Monday night, 11 o'clock p.m. our time. And the cool thing is, for the people that want to know where to watch it, FIVB has a YouTube handle. I think Center Court is shut down. They're not allowed to show that, I think, for contractual reasons. But Court 2, 3, and 4, you can catch those matches on that.
I'm down with that.
Yeah, man. But we're pulling for our people, right, Rob? I mean, right?
Of course.
You want to see Phil and Nick win. You want to see Kleiman and Ross win. You want to see. I definitely want to see Kerry and Sweat win. So cool. But that was it for volleyball.